JT, this week, what's it been like for you adapting, responding to everything?
Like you said, it's just adapting and responding, but you have to do it in a positive manner. I mean, you can't just act like, why are these changes going on? Sometimes change is a good thing, but one of the biggest things is realizing all of the changes being made are, in the best interest of the team. So we have to realize that as a collective, but we also have to come together as a collective and understand we still have a job to do on Sundays. And right now our job is beating the Raiders.
First team meeting with Coach Saturday yesterday, first practice under your belt, your first impressions working with him?
I love his energy. You could tell he truly cares about this organization. I mean, obviously, being here for so long, I mean, he just cares about not only the people in here, but the organization as a whole, and he wants this organization to succeed. So being able to feel that from the first meeting, it says a lot. And then, of course, out on the practice field, you can tell he has passion, and you can tell he just wants us to continue to work every day to get better.
Practice field, you got back out there yesterday. How are you feeling after some work on Wednesday?
Felt really good to get back out there. Actually, going out there, moving around, back out there with the guys, that was a great feeling really good. So trying to continue that trend today, so that's a big positive.
What are the biggest differences you may have been able to feel going out there yesterday versus when you were moving around trying to do some things last week?
Really just, you're going out there, it was still injured. I mean, you could just tell, you're like, couldn't. So going out there now and just being able, I could finally get some work in and actually go play ball with the guys, go out to work. It was a great feeling. It was a great feeling.
JT, do you think you'll play this week?
I'm not sure. Today it's Thursday. I'm always talking to you guys on Thursday. So we still have a lot of time left. So like I said, hopefully continue to trend in a positive direction. Always keep your mental in a positive state. The mind is a powerful thing. You never know. You can shoot some signals to wherever they need to go to get things sped up.
What's your relationship like with Parks Frazier, and what do you think of the opportunity he has in front of him now as a play caller?
Like you said, it's an opportunity, so I was excited. I saw Parks the first day that we got the news, and I was like, let's go, let's do this. And I'm just excited because especially during the year, I'll definitely get some work with Parks on the side on the off period. So now that he's in that position, I know he has some things on his plate, but I know that Parks is up to the task. He's always really into his studies and not just studying the game, not just necessarily what we do, our playbook, but just the game in general.
Alec mentioned some of those one-on-one chances that he's had with Parks over the years. Not over the years, but his first year. But for you, what does that look like when you're working with him or just getting tidbits off to the side?
Number one is just getting to know what's his mind state, what's his mental as far as when he sees a certain look or, he wants to try to get to a certain check. So you kind of get to understand, every OC will be different, but certain OCs kind of have tendencies. So just kind of getting on the same page with Parks now that he's in that position on, hey, what do you think about this situation or if we need to check something, what are you thinking about getting to? So just trying to make sure that we're all on the same page so that on Sundays we're able to go out there, there's no questions, all it's about is execution.
Sunday in New England, we saw that Dion got a little banged up out there. Of course, his practice time has been limited thus far. That's given you some time with Zach Moss. What has stood out about Zach? He's been in here a week, but finally able to get out on the practice field.
Zach is very savvy. I just talked to him the other day. He hit a couple spin moves, and I'm like, did that just happen today? And he's like, no, sometimes I try to hit it. So that surprised me is just, how fluid he was with his spin moves as if he was planning to do it. So that's definitely something I'm going to take heed to because you guys have known, you don't usually see me hit spin moves, but that's definitely something that I could add to my bag.
What do you say to this team to limit distractions of a chaotic couple weeks and going into Las Vegas?
Number one is just tell them to look around. Do things seem chaotic right now between us? And, when they say, no, we're just all getting ready for practice, we're all going to meetings. I'm like, exactly. That's all we have to do is continue going through our routine day in and day out. Things will change, but we need to adapt. Similar to on the field on Sundays. They'll show things that we probably haven't scouted before. We need to adapt and make changes on the sideline.
It's Thursday night at noon, and I know the weekend is still uncertain, but you've been through a few of these Thursdays over the past few weeks, whether or not you would play. Do you at least internally kind of gauge where you are this week versus a week that you did play versus a week that you didn't play?
Oh, definitely. And thinking about it, you're like, man, I don't know how I did it. You're just like, man, I don't know how I did it. But this week, definitely in a great spot. So that's why I'm excited because you're able to go out and get good work and not just fighting with yourself. You're able to go out there and actually focus on the work that you're actually getting on your craft. So that's why I'm excited this week because it's not so much as fighting with myself. It's so much I just need to make sure I'm able to do the work and do it at a high level.
There's more optimism than maybe before Denver, for instance.
Oh, well, Denver was definitely, I mean, that was just too quick of a turnaround.
How much respect do you have for Frank Reich, and do you shoulder maybe some of that disappointment and the fact that he's no longer here? I know Quentin Nelson talked about it yesterday. He was like, we feel like this is partly our fault.
Definitely. Just Coach Frank is not only a great human, but a great coach. And like Quentin said, part of it, definitely falls on you. And you're like, did I do everything possible that I could in order to keep everything together here individually, everyone here individually feeling a piece of that. And the only way is to show coaches respect, number one, by our play, number two, by just day in and day out being asked by coach and just giving our honest feelings because we all love Coach Frank.